Let's talk about the Meagan Wolfe, Michael Spitzer-Rubenstein, and the Zuckerberg 5 Cities connection. Let me introduce you to Michael Spitzer-Rubenstein, the man who ran the election on Election Day in the city of Green Bay. Mr. Rubenstein is a lawyer who lives in Brooklyn, New York. But at all points relevant to this discussion, he worked for National Vote at Home Institute, another Soros-funded organization who is for turning ballots into everyone voting from home. We see that's relevant. His employment is relevant because National Vote at Home Institute was one of the corporate partners that are referred to in the CTCL instructions to the 5 cities. This is the agreement they signed on to. The cities agreed to work with the CTCL partners. And if they wanted to work with somebody else, if the cities wanted to work with somebody else, they had to ask CTCL's permission first. So this is Michael Spitzer-Rubenstein, who would eventually move temporarily to the city of Green Bay during the November 3rd, 2020 presidential period, including Election Day, where he ran the show. The clerk, Miss Teskey, a very faithful and dedicated and honest and brave public servant, quit about 2 weeks prior to Election Day because she said Spitzer-Rubenstein and all these other outsiders are taking over all my job duties. Who's that quote from? That quote is from the municipal clerk of the city of Green Bay, Mr. Spitzer-Rubenstein. The initiating email is in the top right of this program, and it's from Michael Spitzer-Rubenstein, August 28, 2020, to Claire Woodall-Vaugh. Claire is the head of the Milwaukee Elections Commission, the administrative arm of the city of Milwaukee's elections. Claire, great talking to you yesterday. Just a few notes on follow-ups. First point that's highlighted. Can you connect me to Reed Magny, then an employee at WEC, and anyone else who might make sense at the WEC, Wisconsin Elections Commission? So then Claire Woodall-Vaugh emails her friend Meagan Wolfe, among others, on August 28 at 10:55. She didn't let much time go. Yeah, the email from Spitzer-Rubenstein comes in at 10:17. Ms. Woodall-Vaugh gets busy at 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later. She emails to Reed Magny and to Meagan Wolfe and to others at WEC. Hi, Meagan, Richard, and Reed. I just wanted to reach out and connect you with Michael Spitzer-Rubenstein and Hillary Hall from the Vote at Home Institute in case you think other clerks or the WEC staff would find working with them useful. Now that this is very odd for several reasons, and I'm beginning to appreciate the reasons why Ms. Wolfe might not want to talk with me. Here in this email, she is acting within about 15 minutes or so on the request from Mr. Spitzer-Rubenstein to provide Spitzer-Rubenstein with connections at WEC. This is the corporate partner of CTCL that would wind up running the Green Bay election. So the next slide, Meagan Wolfe. And she's sending this to Chris Teskey, who at that time is the Green Bay city clerk. So Meagan Wolfe sends this out August 28 at 11:07. The request comes in at 10:55, and so about 12 minutes later. Not a lot of time for research. If you're unaware of a situation, if you do not know what the National Vote at Home Institute is doing or why they're doing it. Not a lot of time to go figure and research that out, but here we have the administrator of the Wisconsin Elections Commission sending it out to all of the Zuckerberg 5 cities, except, of course, Milwaukee, because the request came into Milwaukee. And here's Ms. Wolfe. passing along a recommendation and resource from Milwaukee. Just wanted you to be aware in case you thought this might be a group you are interested in working with or learning more about. Claire in Milwaukee okayed me sending this along, and it sounds like you should reach out to Michael in his email, if you are interested in learning more. Now, why? This is the head of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, who, when it's convenient to the commission's purposes, expresses that she is the director of all elections in the state. But then when it comes to litigation liability, as we learned in September from the WEC meeting then, she then turns around and takes the position that we at WEC don't really do anything. We're not responsible. We just provide some general guidance. But any kind of legal liability is on the fault or the part of the clerks. So here you have the self-identified director of all elections in the state, and she is giving her okay. Hey, here's a recommended resource. She's going to be so irresponsible that she, as the director of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, is just going to unknowingly recommend an unknown Michael Spitzer-Rubenstein from an unknown National Vote at Home Institute? That defies common sense and human experience. I suggest that she knew all about Mr. Spitzer-Rubenstein, she knew all about National Vote at Home Institute, and she knew, contrary to what she told Representative Thiesfeld twice in 2021, about the CTCL grants. Don't just take that exchange for the idea that she knew about the CTCL grants. Take her own writing. And that writing has its start in a complaint filed by Wisconsin resident Jay Stone. He filed this complaint. He asked WEC, he asked Meagan Wolfe, please look into this CTCL grant. He filed the complaint on August 28, 2020, coincidentally the same day as all of these emails. And she didn't know. So he files the complaint saying, look, this isn't some COVID safety plan that Mark Zuckerberg is funding through CTCL and his Mark Zuckerberg's political director at Pluff. This isn't some COVID safety thing. He's telling us, Stone predicted this. August 28, 2020, more than 2 months before the November 3rd, 2020 election. And Wolfe rejects his complaints. And the same is true here. She rejects Stone's complaint because the commission doesn't have any statutory authority over private grants. Wolfe also says, oh, you had insufficient form. You didn't articulate, Mr. Citizen, non-lawyer, you did not precisely articulate a particular statute. Okay, so as absurd as her response to Mr. Stone, as absurd as Meagan Wolfe's response to Mr. Stone's complaint is, at the very least, it shows that 2.5 months prior to the election, 5 months before her testimony, before this committee, she knew. She knew because she wrote the letter back to Mr. Stone, denying that she had anything at all to do with the question of who is influencing Wisconsin elections. Ms. Wolfe tells Mr. Stone on September 11, 2020, I am writing to inform you that I have determined that the complaint about CTCL and the Zuckerberg 5 cities is not in proper form, and it does not state probable cause that a violation of an election law that the commission has jurisdiction over has been violated. That is a preposterously cramped reading. In fact, it is an inaccurate reading, which Ms. Wolfe knew at the time to be inaccurate. WEC had jurisdiction over this, no question. Stone did not limit his complaint to any of the 5 cities. He complained about the conduct of the Wisconsin elections process and procedure and administration and the unfair partisan influence that Mark Zuckerberg's money washed through CTCL at the direction of President Obama's former campaign manager, David Plouffe, with the kind assistance of all of the former Obama staffers at CTCL and the complicity of the 5 mayors of Wisconsin's largest Democratic cities. That's what he was complaining about. He was entitled to file this complaint. The significance of this, obviously, is Meagan Wolfe's signature. She knew. She knew.